precautionary measure. And in a controversial move, the Turkish government has refused to allow NATO forces to use their sovereign airspace, warning that any such incursion would be seen as a hostile act. Reports indicate that Turkey has refused all air traffic clearance for NATO aircraft at Incirlik Air Base, and that Turkish military forces have refused to allow access into or out of the airbase. Turkey has recently strengthened its political and military ties with Russia, evidently a move towards Sweden and Norway in what must be a major push towards Western Europe. We understand that the Russian Northern Fleet, led by the Kirov-class battlecruiser Peter the Great, has taken up a strategic position in the Norwegian Sea, and we believe that they have very considerable military assets, such as fighter jets, advanced amphibious and landing craft, Akula-class submarines, and of course hundreds of cruise missiles, including those capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Having already crossed the border into Latvia and Estonia, and now into Finland, the looming question is how far Russian forces will go. Will they continue to advance and to defy NATO's declared policy? News. Let's hand over for the moment to my colleague Simon Kendall. Simon.
Thanks, John. We've been watching the situation with concern and will be providing any updates and information possible. We're also here in case Broadcasting House in London needs to be evacuated, which we believe is a possibility. Our military expert Sir Norman Fairchild will also stay on the line with us for the time being. But for the moment, let's get the latest news from Kate Miller. Kate?
Thanks, Simon. We just bombed several military installations in Poland, and that Russian tanks and heavy armoured divisions have crossed the border from Belarus into Poland, just west of the city of Brest, which must surely mean that they'll push directly towards Warsaw. Russian paratroopers have surrounded the strategically important port of Gdansk, and heavy fighting has been reported in the area.
Close to a supply convoy carrying supplies of fuel, ammunition and military equipment. If we can roll the tape, you'll see a distant view of the supply convoy, partially masked by one of the fuel tankers in the foreground, a couple of kilometres or so away from the camera. What happens then is just incredible. It seems to be a huge detonation underwater. The blast itself was about half a mile wide and must have wiped out at least a dozen vessels in one go. Let's go straight to our military expert for his view on this incredible footage. Can you tell us what type of weapon you think the Russians are using here?
I have to say that this is very disturbing. This seems, and there is no doubt in my mind, that Russia are using a nuclear-tipped torpedo, which generally has a yield of around 10 to 20 kilotons, and certainly would be capable of delivering the type of impact we've seen in this footage.
This is quite a powerful image, the weather obviously deteriorating somewhat. Clearly heading straight to a high altitude as quickly as possible. But men and women evacuated. I'm not sure if that's Green Park or St James's Park in London. Or possibly Hyde Park.
Please stand by for further information. This is not a test.
You got a one-track brain, you know that? What's the matter? You going faggot?
BBC.